Okay, I'm back. This is part 2 of my 2022 end of year WIP parade. This might be 3 parts total. I don't know. Part 1 is uploading right now. Hopefully I have enough space in my phone to get through part 2. Oh, I don't know. It might suddenly cut off and then I'm gonna get pissed off. All right. Anywho, look out, Mr. Whiskers. Oh, Mr. Whiskers wants to say hi. Hello, my boy. Say hi, Mr. Whiskers. Hello, Happy New Year, everybody. All right, go on. Go. Okay, so. Yeah, I did that. Okay. On to part 2. So. This bag here was made by my mother. Got a handle on it and 2 pockets. This is my collection from Cooler Design Studios. This is the season samplers. Artwork is by Sandy Orton. This first one here that I'm going to show you is Winter Sampler. And I'm doing all of these on a 28 count tea-dyed Monaco 2/2 full cross. Where it's warranted. This is where I'm at with it so far. I'm back stitching as I go. I will do 1,000 stitches on this all together, concentrating on getting there's a mouse that's supposed to go here, finish this mouse, get this banner done, and then whatever remaining stitches I have, I will concentrate on bringing down this countdown banner that goes 10 to 1. So, mouse, there's a little bit of background in there. Get the back stitching on this banner done. Finish this mouse here. And then whatever remaining stitches will go to this little red part. Oh no, that's already done. Back stitch that part. Whatever remaining stitches I have will go down this banner. That will be that. And then the next one is Spring Sampler. And that's what that one's going to look like. Where am I at on this? This is where I'm at on that one. Look at the S there. Isn't it pretty? It's so pretty. Okay, so this will also be 1,000 stitches. I will be concentrating on finishing the spring banner right here. So my main focus will be finishing the spring part of the banner here, any back stitching involved with it. Whatever is left over, I will start working up here going across. Yeah. Yeah. So then the last one is Autumn Sampler. That one there. I started all of these in the upper left-hand corner if you can't tell. And this is where I'm at on this one. So the 1,000 stitches on this one is going to be concentrated going this border right here, filling this in, back stitching the rest of this here. Whatever is left over, I will be putting in, going in this little blue and white gingham banner going up that way. So there's those. Okay. This next one here is, this is the Sewing Desk by Heaven and Earth Designs. Artwork is by Amy Stewart. And this is regular size, regular color. This is 525 by 375. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. And I'm doing this on a 25 count, easy count Lugana, 2/1 tent stitch. I started in the middle This is where I'm at with it so far, right? Yeah, that's how it goes. I have done 5,404 stitches out of 1,900, no, 1,090, shit. I have done 4,000, God bless. I have done 5,404 stitches out of 196,875. Holy cow, why couldn't I get that out? I am at 2.74%. I would like to get this to 4%. 4% done. So there's that. And you know what I said I was going to do during part 1 when I was going to show this thing? I was going to do a screenshot thing so I could show you and print it, and I totally didn't. So you know what? I'm just going to show you anyway. This is House from Stiach from 2020, that TV show House. It's his face. This is where I'm at on this right here. But what I'm doing is I'm doing it in 4 different colors, four different colorways. So I'm doing it 4 times. It's going to look good when it's done. I've seen it stitch. It's going to look awesome when it's done. But I'm going to do this in 4 different colors, kind of like a Andy Warhol inspired thing, like, you know, the 4 faces, but different color schemes. That's what this is kind of inspired by. So I think what I would like to do, because part 1 is done. I think I was working on part 2 with the orange. So I want to double check and make sure I have all of part 2 done on this one. And if I do, if I don't, I'll finish part 2, and then I'm going to do part 2 on this one, and this one. That's my year-end goal for that. And hopefully I remember to print a print a picture of what it's going to look like when it's done, so I can show you the next time when I work on it. Okay, moving on. This is a dimensions kit. This is Home for the Holidays. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. I started in the middle. This was one of my November starts, I believe. And, hold on. This is where I'm at with it so far. I'm going to do 500 stitches focusing on this basket and the stuff coming out of it. So this basket and the stuff here, the bush thingies, whatever they are, my 500 stitches will be focused on that. So I'm going to finish the basket and then focus on the bushy stuff with my 500 stitches for that one. Okay. So I don't have, this is Christmas on the Beach. It's a petite gold collection from Dimensions. I don't have a cover photo for it. I don't know what happened to it, but you don't really need it. It's not done. All that's left is back stitching. I'm going to say this will be finished by the end of next year. I need to get this done. I need to get it off my list. Excuse me, cats. They're fighting. I need to get this done, so I'm going to get the back stitching done and call it a day. Like, just, I need to get this done and out of my hair. I've got a few of them like that. I think Marion has been giving me a hard time about it. I believe it's Marion that's been giving me a hard time about it. There's a few people giving me a hard time about it, so I can't remember everyone that is like wagging their fingers at me. This one is a Creative Accents kit. This is called Frederick. And that's what it's going to look like when it's done. I've seen this one floating around on Facebook too. I'm stitching this on the kit fabric. This is where I'm at with it so far. I feel like this isn't enough fabric. I'm always like freaked out about these things. I feel like this is not enough fabric, but we'll see how this goes. So there's some back stitching that needs to go in on this book. So I'm going to do that. And actually, well, hold on. What am I going to do? No, I'm going to do 500 stitches on this, and I'm going to, this book, the cross stitching is done. So I'm going to focus, actually, I'm going to do my 500 stitches on the cross stitching. I'm going to do this book here, finish this one, and then move over to the one next to it. Because this book goes up a bit higher. So I'm going to do 500 stitches, concentrating on the cross stitching on this book, and then moving over to this book that's right here. That'll be my goal for that one. Okay. The next piece I'm going to show you is from Cottage Studio. This is Christmas Shops. This was one of my December starts. So this will be down at the bottom. Artwork is by Betsy Brown. This is 900 by 700. That is what it's going to look like when it's done. I like this Christmas piece because it's not your typical white snowy, like a lot of white or really bright colors. It's got a lot of browns and stuff. But this is where I'm at with it so far. I have done 500 stitches out of 630,000, and I am 0.08% complete. I would like to get this to 0.5%. Let's get this to 0.5%. And then I would like to try to get it more of a focus piece maybe in 2024 to get more work, more love on it. All right. Oh, I need this again. The next piece I'm going to show you is from Stitching Moon Designs on Etsy. She also has a floss tube. Megan. Stitching Moon is her floss tube. And this is called Villalona. She is also stitching this as well. This is what it's going to look like when it's done. And I'm doing this on a 28 count, easy count Lugana 2/1 tent. That's where I'm at with it so far. So when I come back in, I'm going to work on these parked threads. I'm just going to start working these parked threads in. I started doing the Royal Rose method, but I was talking to somebody about the Royal Rose method last night, and I think when you're doing tent stitch, you're still going to get lines. She was talking about how the creator of this is talking about how she doesn't get lines or anything, but I think when you do tent stitch, and it's all about your tension as well, but when you do tent stitch with 2 threads, I don't think it's the most ideal thing, so I'm going to start working in these part threads. I have done 7,200 stitches out of 203,040 stitches. I am 3.55% complete. I would like to get this to 5%. Let's get this to 5%. Okay. I feel like I've been doing this all day. Okay, this is going to be one of my focus pieces for 2023. This is from Stitch Area on Etsy. This particular version is not available anymore, but she does have another version. This is Best Friends Quotes. And I'm just doing this on like a 18 count Ivory Aida. I think it's 18 count. This is where I'm at with it. I believe this might be 1,000 stitches a month goal. All the things that are stitched on here are completely done. But I believe it's a 1,000 stitches a month goal. So I'll have 12,000 stitches on this by the end of the year. May or may not be done. It might not be done. I have no idea how many stitches are on this thing. But that's where I'm at with that. I need to put this in my 2024 focus pile. 2024? What the hell? 2023 focus pile. All right, this is a kit by Jan Lynn. This is called Once Upon a Time. That's what it's gonna look like when it's done. That whole border is backstitched, by the way. I mean, not backstitched, the whole border is stitched. It's a lot of stitching. All right, I don't know which way this goes. Might go that way. That doesn't look right. I think it goes this way. I'm going to do 500 stitches on this. Try to figure out where this goes. I think it goes this way. But I'm gonna do 500 stitches on it and work out where this is at, and try to get it to a point where I can figure out which way is up. I gotta look at the pattern and see how this, because I started in the middle. So I gotta see where, I'll know where I'm at once I look at the pattern. Just looking at this, I'm like, I don't know. But I'm gonna do 500 stitches on it. Yeah. Okay. I might be able to get this done in 2 parts. I'm trying to not take my time. I want you to be able to see the WIPs and talk about them a little bit, but I'm trying to not like drag it out. You know what I mean? This is Sweepy by Stitchrobia. I'm doing this on a 28 count Jobelin maybe in the color Lamb's Wool. That's where I'm at so far. I will do 1,000 stitches on this one. Concentrating on getting this center block honeycomb thing, getting this done. So I'm gonna do all the stuff on the inside here and then start on the border here of that until I hit 1,000 stitches. It's my year-end goal for that one. Oh, my back hurts. All right. Oh, you guys have not seen these yet. Okay, so these are my new starts since my last video. 2 of my new starts since my last video. I started the Modern Folk Embroidery Fruits of Plenty style and the 2023 Modern Folk Embroidery. That Fruits of Plenty was from 2021. I also am going to be doing the 2023 style from Modern Folk Embroidery as well. So, Fruits of Plenty. I decided to do mine on, this is 20 count Aida, Fabric of the Month from Mystic Fabrics, and this color is Pumpkin Spice. There's more to the fabric, but it's folded. And I'm doing this in 3 colors, and I have a gold petite treasure braid that I'm gonna kind of sprinkle in like with my initials or something like that where the numbers are. But anyway, I'm doing 3 colors. So the lines dividing everything up is gonna be 838. The orange is 946, and the green I think is 3345. So my goal for this is going to be 1,000 stitches. Working my way through here. 1,000 stitches. Then the, oh God, what's it called? Reaching Skyward? Something like that. Yeah, Reaching Skyward. I'm gonna show you my mock-up because I plugged in the colors I'm going to be using. So it's going to look different than what the pattern is printed out, you know. I am doing a color, the pink is 917 and the blue is 322. No, 336. I have it in here. hold on. $3.36. So the blue is $3.36, the pink is $9.17, and I'm doing this on the other fabric of the month I got from Mystic Fabrics, and this is Polar Blue, 20 count Aida. That's where I'm at so far. I've gotten 500 stitches on this one, so I'm 1.05% complete. I want to do another 1,000 stitches on this by the end of the year. I'd like to do more than that, but you know, all the goals, right? So there's that. All right. Okay, this next one is a kit from Creative Accents. This is Riding the Wave. That's what it's gonna look like when it's done. And this is where I am at so far. Very old kit that I've hardly done anything on. And I'm going to do 500 stitches, concentrating on this middle horse right here. Hold on, where is it? That one there. I'm gonna do 500 stitches concentrating on this middle horse right here. That little water horse, because that's what that is right there. So 500 stitches concentrating on that. Okay. Moving on. Next up is another little dimensions kit. This is called Believe. And it's very, very tiny. It's only 5 by 7 when it's done. And this is where I'm at with this so far. I'd like to have this done by the end of the year. So I'm going to say this is going to be a finish. Looking at it right now, I'm like, I don't know about that. But I think yeah. We're going to say this is going to be a finish. Yeah. Okay. What I'll do in my next floss tube is I'll kind of recap what I said about how many finishes I'm going to do. Probably, because I haven't been keeping track. This next one is a very old kit from Dimensions. This is called 3 Bird Watchers. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. And this is where I'm at with it so far. And what I'm going to, I will do 500 stitches on this, and I think I'm gonna come over here and try to just get over to this edge over here. So I'm gonna do 500 stitches, concentrating on getting over to the end, and then working my way down this way. Yeah. So there's that. Okay. The next thing I'm going to show you is Christmas Rules from Primrose Cottage Stitches. I've been seeing this a lot too. And I'm doing this on a 16 count, or is it 14 count? Might be 14 count. Aida in the color True Blue, but it's more of a gray, but gray was what I was going for. So that's where I'm at with that so far. I will do this one. I'm actually going to finish the snowman section right here. Do the word snowman and do the little X's here. And then I'm going to take a little bit of orange because you can't really see the nose on here. I did what it said. I backstitched with 1 thread to just do the little V for the nose, but I don't like the way it's looking. So I'm going to go back in and do it a little bit thicker to try to get the nose in there so you can see it. So that'll be that. Next up is Christmas ABC by Designworks. It's another one of the alphabet sampler pieces. I really like these. I don't know, I just really like them. Using everything called for in the kit, and this is where I'm at so far. I started in the middle, and this is the O for Ornaments block. This one here, wait, where is it? this one here, there it is. My goal will be to get this one completed with the border and everything. That'll be my goal for that one. Okay. I'm sitting on some. Next up, is Be Still from the Cross Stitch Studio. This was the very first large, like big full coverage piece that I ever bought. And artwork is by Abraham Hunter. This is $9.79 by $7.37. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. I've been hemming and hawing on continuing with this only because I started this on a 22 count hardanger, 2/2 full cross, and I felt like it's a bit thick, but I'm going to put in, I think maybe 1,000 stitches on this and see how I still feel about it. But I'm going to come down here and do 1,000 stitches because if I decide I am going to keep going on it, I need to take this to my mom's and get some fabric sewn on here because this is fraying so bad. So I need to get fabric sewn on here before it gets too jacked up to where it's ruined. So I'm going to do 1,000 stitches on it down here so that I can kind of get a feel back for what it is. It's right on the borderline. 20 count, I can do 2/2, no problem. 25 count if I do, because I'm doing full cross. It's not 2/2, stop. 20, so I'm doing this 22 count hardanger, 2 threads, full cross. That's what I'm doing. 20 count, I do 2 threads, full cross, no problem. 25 count, if I do full cross, I drop to 1 thread. This is right in between. So and I feel like if I just switch to a 1 thread, it's going to be too obvious. So I either need to commit or I don't know. I'm still thinking, but my goal will be to do 1,000 stitches on this, and then I'll make my decision as to if I'm going to restart this or if I'm going to have to fix the fabric before I keep going with it. Okay, there's that. The next thing I'm going to show you is, I forgot to tell you where I was at with it. So far I had done 13,144 stitches out of 721,523. I am 1.82% done. Okay, the next thing I'm going to show you is from Cross Stitch Studio. This is Peaceful Jaguar. And this is one of my December panicky starts. Where's it at? Here it is. Artwork is by Lucy Bilodeau? I don't know. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. And I really like it. But this is where I'm at with it. I'm doing this 1/1 full cross on a 32 count easy count Lugana. And I've done 1,000 stitches on it, and out of 105,625, I am 0.95% complete. I would like to get, let me see. I want to get this to 2%. 2% done. I'm almost at 1%. So it'll be a little over 1,000, or yeah, maybe like 1,500 before it gets to 2%. So 2% on this one. Okay, what's this one? Oh, my mom made me this bag and gave it to me for Christmas. She cross-stitched this. It says keep calm and cross-stitch. And she did it in a variegated thread. Isn't that pretty? I love the bag. This is one of my new starts. I started this last night, actually. And this is a kit that my mom gave me. This is from Luca S. It's my first Luca S kit. And it's called Santa. And I did 200 stitches on it just to get it to WIP status. That's where I'm at so far on it. I think I'm going to do 500 more stitches on it. That's going to be my goal. I'll do 500 stitches on this. Did a center start on it to make sure that, because you know these kits give you like the bare minimum, like a 1-inch border. I don't know what they're thinking. And it's always recommended that you get a 3-inch border, and they give you like 1 inch. I don't know why they do that, but anyway. So there's that. So 500 stitches on that. Okay. What's in here? What's this? All right. So first thing I'm going to show you is, which one is this one? This is one of my stockings I'm doing for my kids. This one is the Enchanted Christmas Reindeer, and artwork is by Donna Gelsinger. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. And I'm doing this on a 25 count, 2/1 tent stitch. I have done a total of, hang on. This is where I'm at with it so far. So I started kind of in the middle, make sure I was good, and then I worked my way up, and now I'm up here. So this stuff up here is new. But I've done 8,374 stitches out of 55,903. I am 14.98% done. Let's get this to 20%. I want to get this one to 20%. I have my other one somewhere. It's in this pile somewhere. The other one I have in this bag is one of my new starts that you have not seen. Sea Turtle Monochrome from Stitching Jewels. And I decided to go ahead and just do this in the black instead of, I was going to do all these fancy colors with it, and I decided not to. I'm doing this on Picture This Plus 18 count Ada in the color Coastal. And this is where I'm at with it so far. I have done 500 stitches out of 8,334. I'm 6% done. It's only 8,300 stitches. I'm going to say this will be a finish this year, next year, 2023 finish. Yeah. We'll see how all this goes. Okay, the next thing I'm going to show you is Halloween Quaker from Lila's Studio. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. I know a lot of people have been stitching this. I am doing this on a 32 count Vintage Stormy Night. That's where I'm at so far. And I think I'm going to do another 1,000 stitches on it, concentrating on finishing the broom, bringing the moon up and around, and the 2 bats up here. There's 2 more bats that go up here. So the moon, the broom, the bats. I think that's going to be more than 1,000. So I'm going to work on the broom first. Whatever's left, I'm going to work up in the moon. Whatever's left, I'm going to do the bats. If there's anything left, I'm going to come up here. There's a Quaker pattern up here that I'll move up here and get done. So that is that one. This does call for some specialty threads, and I started this thinking that I was just going to do DMC, and I think she provides a conversion in her chart that blends some DMCs to give you that look, which I started doing with the broom handle, and then I realized I have almost all of these threads that it calls for, so when I get to the other parts, I'm going to use those. All right, next up is Gingerbread Smalls from Twin Peak Primitives. I'm doing all of them on one fabric, but I'm going to finish them separately, most likely either into pillows, or I might try to do like flat finishes and like a little flip thing that you can just flip through. But this is where I'm at so far. I started on the middle house right here. I'm doing this on a 28 count. I don't know the color. It's a cornflower. Oh, it's corn. Oh, wait. I still have the thing stapled on here. It's a 28 count cornflower from Fiber on a Whim. 2/2. That's where I'm at so far. I will do another 500 stitches on it, concentrating on this middle section of the house right here, and then moving over to the side. So the door, work on the door, get this filled in, move over to the window. 500 stitches. And I'm saying 500 because when I have my kids, by the time I get to sit down and stitch, 500 is usually my limit during the week. All right, next up. These are from the following patterns. The following patterns have been brought to you by Stitchrovia. This first one I'm going to show you is, where is it? Summertime. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. And I am doing this on a, I think this is this a 14 count white opalescent Aida? That's where I'm at with it. I've done 1,600 stitches out of 9,416. I'm 17% done. Let's see if I can get this to 30%. Yeah, let's see if I can get this to 30% by the end of the year. Then the other one is on, well, the other one, there's 3 of them in here. These are all white opalescents, but these 2 are Aidas. This is More Than Yesterday. And this says, I love you more than yesterday. Yesterday, you really got on my nerves. Got that because it reminds me of my kids. And if you have never thought that about your kids, you are a liar. I have never met anyone that truly never has been annoyed by their kids. Everybody gets annoyed. I've done 12,000 stitches on this out of 5,542. I'm 21.76% complete. Let's say that this is going to be a finish by the end of the year. This will be a 2023 finish right here. And then this other one here is called, I want to pull up the PDF. This one has some back stitching in it. So this is called Awesome Myth, and it says, be so awesome, people think that you're a myth. And I'm doing this one on a 20, I think this is an 18 count white opalescent Aida. This is where I'm at with it so far. So Pattern Keeper doesn't have the back stitching in it, so there is some stitches missing. But this is, I've done 800 stitches out of 5,303 cross stitches. I'm 15.09% complete. I'm going to say this is going to be a finish as well. I think I can get this done. I have some high hopes for myself, don't I? The last pattern in this bag is a little magic. Now, what I did was I bought this for light fabric. And I started this on a darker fabric, so some of it's hard to see. This is some kind of opalescent, I don't know, crystal something, I don't know. But this is where I'm at with it so far. So as you can see, some of it's a little hard to see. But that's where I'm at with it so far. I'm going to do 500 stitches on it, working on finishing this witch and then moving over to the witch that's over here. But yeah, my bad. Didn't realize there was 2. There's one of these for a dark fabric, and it does some color switching so everything pops off the darker fabric. Yeah, so Oh well. I'll make it work. All right. That's those. Okay, the next thing I'm going to show you is Birdhouse Gardens. This is from Heaven and Earth Designs. Artwork is by Ciro Marchetti. Where is it? This is 600 by 420. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. And I'm doing this on a 20 count, easy count Aida with 2 threads, full cross. Got quite a bit of this done. I was working on this in the beginning of December, in between all my starts. That's where I'm at with it so far. I have done 3,650 stitches out of 252,000. I am 1.45% complete. Let's go ahead and get this up to 2%. 2% done on this is what I would like to have done. Yeah. Okay. Here's my FFO. I finally got to it. This is my FFO. This is PhD from Stitch Robia. It says I'm working on my PhD in cross stitch. Project's half done. So I did the stitching and then I gave it to my mom and she turned it into a project bag for me. And FYI, my mom's birthday was a couple days ago, so happy birthday to my mommy. But yeah, this is this is my FFO. So let me stick this in here and put this down here because I got to do some switching out of bags so I can have my actual project bags be with projects I'm actively working on, not waiting in the wings. Okay, this next one here is a new start that you have not seen yet. This is one of the starts I've done in the past couple weeks. This is from Cross Stitch for Everyone. This is Happy New Year. That is what it's going to look like when it's done. I am doing this 1/1 full cross on a 28, I think, count, easy count Lugana. I've done 200 stitches on it. Out of 75,240, I am 0.27% complete. I want to see if I can get this to 1%. Wait. Yeah, 1%. I'm mixing up in my head. I wasn't talking to you. I was mixing up in my head. I was thinking 1% of 75,000 is 7,005. No, it's not. 1%. Okay. This next thing that I'm going to show you is a kit from Jan Lynn. This is a stamped cross stitch kit, and it is called Snowy Days. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. So when you look at the cover photo and you look at my stitching, it actually matches up pretty good regarding how the stitches look. Look, see how it's kind of lumpy? I wasn't a big fan of that. But I think that that's how it's supposed to look because that's how this looks. So I'm going to keep going with it. I'm going to do 500 stitches working on the hat. 500 on the hat. Okay. Next up is Fairy Tale Cottage. This is from the Cross Stitch Studio. I'm gonna have to pull this out of the Q-snap. Artwork is by Abraham Hunter. This is 979 by 737. That is what it's going to look like when it's done. And I'm doing this on a, I think this is a 25 count, easy count Lugana, 2/1. Yeah, 25 count, easy count Lugana, 2/1 tent stitch. And, oh man, I closed out. I'm pulling it off the Q-snap because it's gonna, I have other things I'm gonna start before I start this back up again. So let me just pull it off and then I can show you where I'm at over, because I gotta show you where I'm at overall anyway, because this is not the only area that I've worked on. Okay. I have done a total of 22,431 stitches out of 721,523. I'm gonna start up here. I am 3.11% done. Then I came down here with some 939, and then I started working in this section down here. My goal for end of year goal for this will be to get I'm gonna say 2,000 stitches on this, because when I count for my games, I cut my stitches in half because they're tent. So if I say 500 stitches or 1,000 stitches, that's like one night of working on this. I'm gonna say 2,000 tent stitches. Yeah, so 2,000 stitches on this. Okay. So much. Okay. Oh, why is that zipped? Sorry. This next one is from Charting Creations, and this is called Checking the List. Artwork is by Marcelo Corti. This is 280 by 419, and that is what it's going to look like when it's done. I don't think I've worked on this since the last time I showed you. I don't think I've worked on it since the last time I showed you. That's where I'm at with it so far. I've done 1,900 stitches out of 117,320. I am at 1.62%. Let's get this to 3%. 3% done. I'm doing this 1/1 full cross on, it looks like a 28 count easy count Lugana. Okay. Next up is my big one. My million stitch project, Catching Rays, from the Cross Stitch Studio. Artwork is by Abraham Hunter. This is going to be my big focus piece for the year, because I would like to get a lot of progress on this. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna get this done. This is huge. This is 1,200 stitches by 900 stitches. The grand total of stitches is 1,080,000. It's my biggest project I've ever done. I know there are some that are bigger, but this is, I mean, this is my million stitch. It's huge. I'm doing this 1/1 on 32 count easy count Lugana, full cross. And I'm doing the pages in like a checkerboard. So I've done 2 pages and then I've started a third. My goal for this really is going to be to get 24,000 stitch. Wait, no, I think I even made the goal even higher in semi-sane. I think I said 30,000 stitches on this. But yeah, that's where I'm at on that. So my plan is to do the pages in like a checkerboard. So when I get done with this page, I might jump over here and do one of these. I don't know. We'll see how I feel. But yeah, that's where I'm at on that one. So for the stats, for the statistics, I have done 13,924 stitches out of 1,080,000. I am 1.29% done. So the next piece, oh, that needs to go over in my focus pile. Stay. Okay, the next piece I'm going to show you is Day to Night Iceland by Lars Stewart, charted by Pain Free Crafts. This is another piece that has been retired. And my goal for this was 2,000 stitches a month. View PDF. This is 600 by 430. That is what it's going to look like when it's done. So 2,000 stitches a month. This is my starting point right there. I have done 400 stitches out of 258,000. I am 0.16% complete. So if I do 2,000 stitches a month, that will put me at 24,000 stitches done on this. So that's where I'm at on that. I'm doing this 1/1 full cross on a 32 count easy count Lugana. So there's that. Okay. Next thing I'm going to show you is my Letters from Hogwarts Stitch Your Own Adventure. I've gone over this in previous videos, so I'm not really going to get into too much detail because I'd like to keep things moving. But this is the mock-up of the outlines, the parchments. I have 3 of these projects going. I have one for myself and then one for each of my kids. What I will say, I will link his Facebook group, Stuart Cunningham. I will link his Facebook group and his website down below. This is a free stitch along. I will suggest that you get over there and get this downloaded. If this is something you're thinking about doing, get it downloaded, because I'm hoping next year he puts out, not 23, but 2024. I'm hoping he puts out his next Stitch Your Own Adventure. But when he does that, this is going to go away. So this is mine. I still have to finish the first outline of the parchment. My goal for this is going to be to completely finish the parchment, because there's a couple colors on the inside of the brown. I got to finish the cross stitching the brown, and then I want to finish that part there. I want to finish the outline of this parchment, and I want to finish the outline of I want to come down here and get this line and this line done, like the outline of to border parchment 2, get that one done for mine. This one here is for my younger son. It doesn't really matter right now because it's just the outline of the parchment. This one here is for my younger son. And I'm going to finish chapter 1, and then I'm going to do one of the ones on the side over here. Actually, I'll probably do the one that's over to the, I'm going to outline that, finish outlining this, and then I'm going to do this one over here. And then this one is the one I started from my older son. I got more done on that. So I think for this one, I'm going to, I'd gotten that one done, right? I'm gonna finish this and then come over here and finish chapter 1 outline. So we'll kind of all be in different locations. Those are my goals for those 3. Maybe by the time they graduate high school, I will have these done. I mean, these are doable in a year, honestly. They really are, but not when you've got not when you're doing 3 of them and you also have 137 WIPs that you're working on. Okay. Oh, I zipped that up, my bad. All right, next up is Rainbow Castle Max Colors. This is from Heaven and Earth Designs. Artwork is by Ciro Marchetti. I have not worked on this since the last time you saw it. Where is it? Here it is. This is 550 by 738. It's very, very bright and colorful. Really cool looking. I like it a lot. And there you go. So you can see it. I don't have a whole lot done on it. I've only gotten a small start. That's it. 300 stitches out of 405,900. I am 0.07% complete. I would like to get this to 1%. 1% complete is what I would like to do. Okay. Next up is another WIP that I adopted from my friend Naomi. This is Mini Tea and Books. And artwork is by Bridget Ashwood. This is 275 by 275. That is what it's going to look like when it's done. Sarah Stitch-A-Mommy is also stitching this, but she is doing it without the background. I'm doing mine with, because that is how Naomi started it. She did an upper right hand corner start, and this is, it looks like she's doing a 2/1 stitch on, this might be like a 25 or 28 count. That's where she's at on that one. She has 3,120 stitches out of 75,625, 4.13%. I want to get this to 6%. So just throw a couple percents. 6% done is what I'd like to get this to. Okay. Next up, Honeymoon Sunset. This is from Cross Stitch Studio. Artwork is by Abraham Hunter. This is the one full coverage that I have the furthest progress on. It was kind of my focus piece last year. Not 2023, but more 2022, I feel like. This is 869 by 649. That's what it's gonna look like when it's done. I'm doing this on a 25 count, easy count Lugana, 2/1 stitch. I am 28% complete. 157,910 stitches out of 563,981. I'm going to show you the whole thing. Oh, look at that. Look at that. That's where I'm at with it so far. You can see I was stitching all over the place. All right, let me get this a little bit closer for you. So I started up here, then I was paranoid that I didn't have enough room. So I started stitching across, and then I got to the edge here. Look at that sky. And then I started working my way down at the palm tree. Look at that tree. Look how good that tree looks. And this section here I decided to do page by page, and I started, but you can see the gazebo coming in right there. So I worked my way down to the bottom to make sure I had enough room, which I did. And then this section down here has flowers. And then this middle part here, you can see the sailboat. I can't see. You can see the sailboat sails like starting to come through. This looks so good. I'm super stoked with it. So I'm at 28% exactly. I want to see if maybe I can try to get this to 30%. Because it's tent stitch, so it goes faster. So I might be able to get it to 30%. We're going to shoot for that. All right. Next thing I'm going to show you is a blanket. This is a really old blanket, and it's literally a blanket. This is from Sunset. This is what it's going to look like when it's done. I bought this back in the 90s when I still hated kids. I just wanted something to do. I didn't want to have nothing to do with kids, but I really liked the blankets, so I bought it. This is where I'm at. So I'm going to kind of do this here. because I work my way down on the edge over there on the right. And I got some of the words done down here. So I'm gonna do another 500 stitches on this. I'm going to do another 500 stitches on it. Actually, yeah, 500 stitches on it. I'm gonna finish this eye right here. This is satin stitch, so that's why I was like kind of figuring out if I was gonna do 500 plus the other eye and the nose, or if I was gonna just do the eye and the nose, or I'm going to do 500 cross stitches. Finish that eye and do 500 cross stitches. How about that? All right, next up. Oh, my mom made me this. This is one of those things that you see on the Flosstube. Awesome, my mommy made it for me. I love it. So you can put your floss in here, and I have a project in here. And then I have a pocket back here for my pattern, and then a zip pocket for my fabric, and I have scissors in there and everything. But yeah, so this one is actually holding a new start you have not seen yet. This is my black work, peppermint purple, Sunny Waves. And I got started in the middle here. My jacket keeps falling. I got started in the middle here. This is how it's going. I don't remember how many stitches I've done on it so far. I think I just did 200. Well, 400 because it counts. You have to double it because of the way it stitches. But I think what I'd like to do is get 1,000 stitches on it. So when I count it for my games, it'll be 500. And I'll concentrate on filling this in right here. If this gets filled in with those 1,000 stitches, I will, I'm going to move up to that section right there. But 1,000 stitches on this. Okay. The next thing I'm going to show you is a small dimensions kit. This is Merry Christmas, or Christmas Penguin. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. Cute little thing. And here we go. This is where I'm at with it. And I think that I can finish this by the end of next year. We're going to call this a finish for 2023. Yeah, finish for 2023. This is another dimensions kit. This is Glory of Autumn. If you don't know why I'm laughing, you obviously have not seen any of my previous WIP reads. This is what it's going to look like when it's done. This is what it looks like right now. It's not done. I have to backstitch. Freaking hate backstitching. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to call it right now. This is going to be a finish for 2023. 2023 finish is what this is going to be. We shall see. All right. Oh, ah. Hey, Marion. I think you were the one, Marion. Winter Wolves. Another kit. Creative Accents. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. It's not done. I swear it's not done. I don't have that much more to go. I am going to finish this in 2023. It is almost done. I think I just need to backstitch the trees, and that's it. I just need to finish backstitching the trees and check that middle wolf right there, that main wolf. I got to double check that and make sure there's nothing there. But yeah, this will be a finish for 2023. All right. Next up, this is White Tiger Ghost. This is a crop from the Cross Stitch Studio. This was one of my, I think this was a December start. Yeah. Artwork is by Jeremy Paul. And this is what it's going to look like when it's done. And I'm doing this on a 14 count Aida because that is what I had. And it would fit. And this is where I'm at so far. I have done 400 stitches out of 90,000. I am 0.44% done. I would like to get this to let's get this to 5%. 5% done. I don't know how many stitches that's going to be, but we're going to say 5%. All right. Next up, there's a few that might end up being UFOs, but I don't have a thing of what this is going to look like. It's in a magazine. This is Proverbs. It's almost done. Oh, I'm at 20% battery. This is almost done. And there is flowers down at the bottom. I thought I was closer to being finished before, but there's a lot more to that than I thought. I'm going to do 500 stitches on this before I move on to something else. 500 stitches on that. It says, for wisdom will enter your heart, and knowledge will fill you with joy. Wise planning will watch over you. Understanding will keep you safe. Okay. Next up, this is a very, look at that. This is Designs for the Needle, Muppet on Indian Carpet. Leslie Ann Ivory, I guess, had done a series called Ivory Cats, and this is one of them. I'm going to do 500 stitches on this one. I'm just going to go ahead and say I'm going to do 500 stitches. I started in the middle. I'm trying to figure out where I'm at. I think this is how it goes. So I'm going to do 500 stitches, and I'm going to concentrate on an area where I can tell which way is up. So probably try to figure out maybe where this white is, and then maybe work on the red, and then I'll know, you know, in the carpet, and then I'll know which way is up next time I show it. But 500 stitches on that one. Okay. Next up is called From This Day Forward. That is what it's going to look like when it's done. This is what I've done so far. I will do another 500 stitches on it, and I think I'm going to concentrate on the groom over here. Yeah, 500 stitches on the groom is what I'm going to do next time. I don't know what this is stitched on. I don't know what that fabric is. It's whatever came. It was a kit from Jan Lynn. It's whatever the kit came with. Okay. Next up is a small little kit from Bucilla. This is called Bless This Nest. This is what it's going to look like when it's done. And this is where I'm at with it so far. I'm going to do 500 stitches on this one as well, concentrating on coming across with the background down here at the bottom. I'm not going to worry about the nest. I'm going to work on the background going across and back up. If for such, I don't think that, I think the background will take up the 500 stitches I've allotted it. If not, I will work on the words, on the word nest over here. Okay. Next up is a kit from Artiste. This is called Irish Blessing. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. And it says, may the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warmly upon your face. May the rain fall softly on your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. That's what I've done so far. I would like to do the, I want to do the line number 1 and line number 3. So I have the first 3 lines of the phrase done by the end of next year. So, yeah. All right. I'm making good progress here. I think I'll be okay with just keeping this in 2 parts because I am almost done. All right, next up is, what is this? Oh, Halloween Feather Tree from Little Robin Designs. That is what it's going to look like when it's done. I'm doing this on a 32 count vintage Stormy Night. And this is where I'm at so far. I'm doing mostly the called fors. I did switch out some stuff, but I'm doing basically the called for colors. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish, there's, got to finish the, you can't see that. What are you doing? You got, I'm going to finish the little feather things coming off the things. I'm going to finish those there and then get the rest of these motifs done here. So that basically this half of the, from here up will be done. So when I'm done, I'll have to do that one there and then all this down here, but that'll be for 2024, Jennifer. Okay. Next up is from Shannon Christine Designs. This is Autumn Favorites. That is what it's going to look like when it's done. And I'm doing this on a, I think this is a 16 count or a 14 count Ada in the color chalkboard. So this is making my floss look more chalkboardy right now than bright and colorful like on here, but it's kind of cool, so I'm digging it. I just have a couple berries to finish over here, and then I'm going to come over along the side here and do the word pumpkin going down. So I'll do kin and then pump. Oh, then I'll come back up and work on, but I'll do pumpkin over on the side. Because I got this thankful done in like maybe at the most a 2-day session. But I may have gotten it done in 1. All right. Next up is From the Ashes. This is from the Cross Stitch Studio. This is a crop. Artwork is by Abraham Hunter. Trying to find it. This is 423 by 423. That is what it's going to look like when it's done. And I'm doing this 1/1 full cross on a 28 count easy count Lugana. This is where I'm at with it so far. I have done 1,200 stitches out of 178,929. I am 0.67% complete. I think I would like to get this up to 1% done. We'll do 1% for this. Yeah, 1% for that. Okay. Next up is Steampunk Sewing Machine. This is from My Stitch. That is what it's going to look like when it's done. And I'm just doing this on, I don't know, some piece of Aida that I had that it fit. And let me make sure I have this going the right way. This is where I'm at with it so far. I'm going to do 500. I think if I can hit more goals if I keep it at 500. I'm gonna do 500 stitches on this, but I'm going to concentrate on getting that part right there. So I'm gonna come out this way and I'm gonna work on this part here, 500 stitches of it. Okay. We are almost done here, folks. Next up is Fat Pants from Dirty Annie's. That is what it's going to look like when it's done. It says, Happy Thanksgiving, get your fat pants ready. And I'm doing this on a 16 count Aida in the color Dirty. And this is where I'm at so far. This is where I'm at so far. I have 2 more motifs and then this section will be done. I'm gonna say that I will finish this by the end of next year. I'm gonna finish this one. Yeah. So this will be a 2023 finish. All right. Well, we just have a couple more to go, peeps. Okay. This next one I'm going to show you is wrapped up. Oh, so this one I worked a lot on. This is Patchwork Quilt Room from Heaven and Earth Designs. And artwork is by Ciro Marchetti. This is 700 by 490. That is what it's going to look like when it's done. And I was working on this a lot because it was like right there and I had all my WIPs like piled up because I was trying to get ready for the WIP parade, so I didn't really have stuff handy. I have done a total, ready? Boom, look at all that. I have done a total of 3,959 stitches out of 343,000. I am 1.15% complete. I would like to get this to 2%. Let's try to get this one to 2% by the end of next year. Yeah. Okay. And my mom made me this too. She did the cross stitching. Says I cannot count my day complete till needle, thread, and fabric meet. And then she made me the bag. So let me just kind of shove this in here because what I'm going to do is my projects that I'm going to be working on actively all year long, I'm going to put them in the Better Project bags that my mom did. And then put these ones that I'm just going to work on like once or twice in those plastic ones. Okay, so actually I had more than I thought I did. I thought I only had a couple and I don't. All right, so this next one is from Maya Stitch. This is Privet Drive. That is what it's going to look like when it's done. I am doing this on a 32 count. It's one of those little packets of Murano, like plaid. Shit, which way does this go? Hang on, I gotta figure this out. Probably help if I had the pattern in the right way. Now I know. I'm doing this 32 count, 1/2, 2/2, 2/2, full cross. It's hard to tell because it needs back stitching, but I'm gonna do 500 stitches on it. This is Hedwig's head over here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do 500 stitches, concentrating on Hedwig, and see if I can get Hedwig done with some back stitching, because it's hard to see what's what right now, especially with the fabric. But I think once this is done, it's going to look really good on this fabric. It's just a work in progress right now, you know? So 500 stitches on Privet Drive. And then this is, I can't remember what they called this, but it's basically some witch stuff. It's from Maya Stitch. And I started in the middle. This is where I'm at so far with it. So what I think I'm gonna do with this is I'm gonna do 500 stitches, finish the pumpkin completely. Whatever stitches remain of that 500, I'm going to move up, and there's another pumpkin up here. I'm gonna move up and start on that pumpkin up there, but I'll do 500 stitches on this to finish filling in the pumpkin and start the back stitching. And if there's any left over, I'll start the pumpkin up at the top. That one up there. Okay, next up. Oh, you have not seen this one. This is Kitty and Me Designs. Artwork is, God, let me start over. This is Morning Glory Mandala by Kitty and Me Designs. That is what it's going to look like when it's done. I'm doing this on a 14 count Aida in the color Dirty, using the called for floss, except for I'm going to switch out the Krynic because it calls for Krynic braid number 4 in the color Pearl. I'm going to do a Petite Treasure braid in a white. But I think I got like 500 stitches on this one. That's where I'm at with it so far. And I want to do another 500 on it. That'll be my goal for next year. Will be another 500. So there's that. Yeah, these ones you haven't seen. These last few here, you have not seen these. This one you're really not going to be able to see. This was one of my starts for last night. I feel like I showed that one. No, I did. Okay. This is one of my starts for last night. This is another pattern by Cross Stitch for Everyone. This is called Baubles on the Beach. I keep hitting the wrong thing. This is what it's going to look like when it's done. I'm doing this 1/1 on a 28 count white monogo and full cross. And I started up in the corner where the water is, where it's really, really light. So of course you can't see shit. But I did 200 stitches on it. I want to do, so I've done 200 stitches on it. Out of 76,729, I'm 0.26% complete. Let's get this thing up to 1%. Hopefully, by doing that 1%, let me see. Mock-up. I don't know if that's going to get me out of the water or not, but I want to get this to 1%. This was one of my starts from last night to get me to the 140. I think you did see this one. This is another pattern from Cross Stitch for Everyone. This is Ho Ho Ho. This is some cut. I'm doing this on some 14 count, like silver something or other, Aida. I want to do, this one stitches up pretty quickly. This is how it goes. Right? Yeah. This is what I've done so far. And I think I'm going to do 1,000 stitches on this one because this goes pretty quick. I'm going to do another 1,000 stitches on this. Do I have this in pattern? Yeah, I do. Oh, you know what? I can just look and see how many I've done. I only did 200. Oh, you know what? There's only 9,600 stitches in this. I'm going to finish this joker. Yeah, we're going to call this a finish for next year. I feel like I'm saying I'm going to finish a lot of things that I'm not going to. Okay, this one you've seen before. These last two you have seen. Okay. This is Mr. Grinch from the Cross Stitch Studio. This was a limited edition pattern, so you cannot get it right now. That is what it's going to look like when it's done. This is not a full coverage. So I'm doing this on a 18 count, I think, or maybe a 16 count white opalescent Aida. With two threads, full cross. This is where I'm at so far, right there. And I have done 200 stitches out of 9,071. I'm 2.2% complete. What the hell? Let's just go ahead and say that this will be a finish as well. Probably won't be, but we'll see. And here's my other stocking that I was looking for. You guys need to be going over here. My other stocking is the Falling Snow from Heaven and Earth Designs. Artwork by Alan Guiana. This is what it's going to look like when it's done. I'm doing this for my younger son. I think my older son claimed the reindeer, so I'm going to give my younger son that one there. And this is, I'm doing this on 25 count, easy count Lagana, 2/1 10th stitch. This is where I'm at with it so far. So up here, down here. I have done 15,263 stitches out of 78,648. I am 19.41% done. Let's get this thing to 30%. 30% for this one. No. Let's just do 25%. I've got too much going on. 25% for this one. All right. That's it. That's all 140 WIPs. So, some of you may be asking, how are you going to get all this stuff done? Because I don't know. I set a lot of goals for myself. I don't think I'm going to get them all done. I really don't. I set the bar very high. Like I said, I'm either going to have an epic stitching year or I'm going to fail miserably. I don't know which one is which, but if I don't hit all the goals, it's okay. I just wanted to give myself something that if I pulled that particular WIP out, I had a set goal to go for, you know what I mean? And it'll be fun to see how many of these I can get done. And like I said in part one, if I get all these done, I won't, then I will go ahead and do 365 new starts in 2024. So so what I'm going to do is once these are uploaded, once both parts are uploaded, I'm going to go back and watch them so I can put down what the goals are for everything, and then we can track it all next year together. So we'll see how many I'll have a little thing where I have what I say I'm going to finish, my goals, what I've done, what I still need to do, all that stuff. That'll be fun. It'll be something fun to do. So yeah, that's it. I'm excited for the new year. I really am. I'm excited for the new year. Excited to see what it has in store, both in real life and in my little stitching life here. And I hope that you guys liked what I had to show you. I'm going to list the websites, Etsy shops. I'm not doing individual things, but I will list the Etsy shops that I've shopped at to get all this stuff, the websites I've gone to get all this stuff. And yeah, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section down below. Give me a thumbs up if you liked what you had to see. If you are not already subscribed to my channel, why not? But if you want to see more, go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below. I'm excited for next year's Flosstubes because yeah, we're gonna have like charts and like, you know, we're going to be tracking this stuff and see where I'm at. It's going to be fun. I'm excited. I hope you are too. So take care. Happy New Year. Get a lot of stitching in. Be safe. And I will see you next year. I think actually maybe next weekend. Yeah, might be next weekend. So take care, everybody. Bye-bye.